I applaud the release of the Australian Child Maltreatment Study, a landmark piece of research to truly understand the prevalence and impact of child abuse and neglect in Australia. The most alarming figure for me is the prevalence of exposure to domestic violence at 39.6%, the highest of all forms of violence. It is a concern that 8.3% of Australians experienced domestic violence as its own form of maltreatment. Yet of greater concern is that 31.2% experienced domestic violence in combination with other forms of maltreatment. The 6 most prevalent combinations of multi-type maltreatment all include exposure to domestic violence, affecting 1/3 of the population. As the Minister for the Prevention of Domestic, Family and Sexual Violence, Minister for Territory Families and Minister for Police, Fire and Emergency Services in the Northern Territory, these findings are fundamental to my work. These portfolios are the stronghold of preventing and responding to domestic, family and sexual violence. The Northern Territory Government will soon release Action Plan 2. That comes under our Domestic, Family and Sexual Violence Reduction Framework, which spans from 2018 to 2028. Safe, respected and free from violence. The action plan reflects that it takes a combined effort, knowledge and ideas to reduce violence and work together to achieve safer homes, communities, workplaces and in our schools. The Northern Territory has recently had the Northern Territory Coroner examine the tragic deaths of 4 women who died from domestic and family violence here in the Northern Territory. These inquests, together with the release of the Australian Child Maltreatment Study, deepen my government's resolve to galvanise the 5 pillars of our domestic, family and sexual violence reduction framework. These pillars are: domestic, family and sexual violence shall be prevented and not tolerated. Territorians at risk of experiencing violence are identified early and provided with effective interventions. 3, that people experiencing domestic, family and sexual violence are protected and helped to recover and thrive. That perpetrators are held accountable and connected early to responses that change their behaviours and reduce violence. And finally, that legislation, policy and funding models enable a responsive, high quality and accountable domestic, family and sexual violence service system. We've got a great one here in the Territory. We know there's a lot of work to be done, but I'm confident that if we work together, that our collective efforts can make a difference in the lives and safety, particularly of women and children all across the Northern Territory.